Let's program the print Intro 12 from your packet. We have several pieces of geometry that we're going to be programming here. Some circles, frames, a couple of holes blocks, one using locations, one using bolt circle. And we have a large slot that we want to create using a mill frame with corner radiuses. Let's go ahead and begin by going to the input screen, Program Manager, and creating a new program. Then we want to go and create tools. Now, to save time, I have already gone in and set up all of the tools that are necessary to run this part. I have all my drills, my end mills, and the tap set up. So we can go directly to Part Setup, More, and Set Up Stock Geometry. Yes, we want to manually size the stock, and we put in some values. The x-axis length is 11.126. The y-axis is a 7 1/4, and it's a 1/4 inch thick. Now the bottom left corner of the print is 0, so there's no need to use any of the reference positions to move my stock into place. So I go back out to my input screen. I've done my part setup, which means I've done my stock geometry. I've set up my tools already. I've associated speeds and feeds for those, and I've also gone in and set the advanced tool settings to make sure that all of my angles on drills and so forth have been taken care of. So I'm ready to go directly into part programming. Now I'm going to begin with that mill frame with corner radiuses to do the slot. So I select milling and frame. Now I have to find one of the theoretical corners of this frame. And I think from the print, the bottom left corner would be the closest and most easily determined corner of this slot. Now I see that all the dimensions for the slot are to the center of the radiuses and the center of the slot itself. So I'm going to need to do some math to figure this out. I see that the center of the slot in the X is at 8.25. And I'm going to subtract from that the radius of the corner, minus 0.625, or the radius of the slot itself. The y-axis corner will be 1 5/8 inches to the center, minus the radius of 5/8. So that's going to mean that my y start is going to be a 1 inch. Now the length of the frame and the x-axis will be twice the radius that's asked for. So 0.625 times 2 is 1 1/4 inches. Now for y length, the print dimension calls out a 4-inch length. Well, I need that 4 inches plus the radius that's on either end. So I need to take the 4 inches and add 625 twice. Well, we already know from just doing the x length that 0.625 times 2 is 1 1/4 inches. So if I take that 1 1/4 inches and I add 4 inches to it, I will get the full length of the slot from end to end of 5 1/4 inches. Now I'll do my 0.1 Z start. I'm going to go down 0.3, which goes all the way through the part. And we said we're doing a frame with corner radiuses of 5/8, so I'll go ahead and put that information in as well. Now I'm going to use my 3/4 inch end mill, which is tool number 5, to cut this feature, and I'm going to use inside tangent. With a tool as large as 3/4 in a 1 inch or 1 1/4 inch slot, I probably would have plenty of room to blend on and off, but I don't really need to. I can make one pass around the slot and clean up the center, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put in a 0.1 peck depth, and let's draw that and see what we get. There's our slot. So part of our job is complete. So let's go back to the program, next block, and let's mill the circle in the center of the, in the bottom left corner actually. Milling, circle. Looks like the center of that circle is at 2.75 in X and 2 inches in Y. And it appears that that's 1.5 inches diameter or 3/4 inch radius. 0.1 minus 0.3 for our Z bottom. I'm going to use the same tool number 5, 3/4 inch end mill, and I'm going to pocket this out this time. I'll do the same peck depth of 0.1, and I'll draw. So now I have 2 of the features, and that should be the end of my tool 5 or 3/4 inch end mill. I'm now going to program the little frame in the upper left corner that mills all the way through, and that has 0.12 radiuses in the corner. So I'm going to have to use my 1/4 inch end mill for that. So we'll go in and start our next block. Next block, milling. It's going to be another frame. And again, I need to figure out where the corner is on this particular part. And I think, again, the bottom left corner is going to be the most easily determined corner for this particular frame as well. So my X is going to be 1.95, and my Y will be 3.87. From the print, I see that my X length is 1.6, and my Y is 1.95. 0.1 for my Z start, negative 0.3, corner radiuses of 0.12. Actually, I'm going to leave that at 0 because the tool will create that. So I just need to select the tool from the list. It's my 1/4 inch end mill. Now I don't have a 1/4 inch end mill. I've set that up as a drill. So let's go change that. Let's go to Tool Setup for Tool 3. Let's make that an end mill. Now let's go back and use that again. So Tool 3 is going to be a pocket boundary. I have a peck depth of 0.1. Let's see if that draw is correct. There we go. So outside of calling that tool the wrong type of tool in the beginning, that worked pretty well. So now we have 3 of the milling features. All that's left now are the blocks of drilling. Now let's do the 4 holes in the corners first. Those are 370 through, so those will be using the 3/8 inch drill that it asked for. So we're going to go back to the program. We're going to start the next block. It's going to be a holes block, and I'm going to do a drilling operation using the center drill. Put our depths in there, call up the tool. We're going to go next hole operation, which will be a drilling operation with a drill. I'm going to go 0.4 to make sure I get through the part. I don't know the tool number, so I'm going to select it from the list. It is tool number 2. And then I'm going to do the next hole operation, which will be the locations. Now the first location is the bottom left corner there, and it's going to be a 0.313 in X and also a 0.313 in Y. Now I know from that hole it's 6 5/8 in Y and 10.5 in X to the other holes. Well, let's do the bottom right corner first. So my X position is going to be 0.313. I'm going to add the 10.5 in the plus direction. The 313 is going to stay the same in Y. Now I'm going to do the upper right corner, and our 10.813, that stays the same, but I need to add a 6.625 from the last hole in the Y. So I go 6.625 plus enter. Now that got me the upper right corner, I'm going to do the upper left corner. So from the 10.813 location, I know that I need to move to the left or negative 10.5, so I'll simply take 10.5 subtracted from that value, and that'll give me the 0.313 again, and the y should stay the same. So let's go ahead and draw that. And there are the 4 corner holes that we need. Now if you look at the bolt circle, there are 6 equally spaced holes, and they are 200 thousandths in diameter, but they are not tapped. If you look at the 4 corners around that small frame we did, those are also drilled with the .2 drill, but they are tapped. So I'm going to do the bolt circle first. I'm going to go to the block, next block, it'll be a holes block, drilling operations, I'm going to use a center drill, tool 1, we know that. Next hole operation will be a drilling operation using the drill. I'm going to go minus 0.4, make sure I'm all the way through the part, using the 0.2 drill or the number 7 drill. That would be number 6. And my next hole operation will be the bolt circle. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 holes in the bolt circle. The center of that circle is at 2.75 in x and 2 inches in y. The radius is 2.2 diameter divided by 2 will be a 1.1 radius, and the start angle will be 20 degrees and 25 minutes shy of 270. So first of all, I need to figure out the decimal equivalent for that 25 minutes. I'll take 25 divided by 60. I will then add 20 degrees to that. And then I'm going to subtract that value from 270. And that gives me 249 points, a little over 249.5 degrees. Hit the draw button, and I have a bolt circle. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do the 4 corners around the small frame, which is the only thing that I have left, and that is going to be drilled and tapped. So I go back, start my next block, holes, drilling operation, center drill, 0.1 minus 0.125, use tool 1. Next hole operation, drill, minus 0.4, using the 200 thousandths drill. Next hole operation will be my tap. My machine would be equipped with rigid tapping. I'm going to go ahead and do that every chance I can. So there's rigid tap. I'll go down 0.4 there as well, using the 1/4-20 tap. And then I have my center drill and tap. I now need some locations for those holes. So I'll go to next hole operation, select locations, and put those values in. Looks like our first hole is located at 1.775 in x and 3.95 in y. We're 1.95 over from the first hole, so 1.95 plus gives me my y. And I'm going to keep that y as my x. I'm going to keep this y as my location for the next hole, which would give me my bottom 2 in this case. Now, from the original hole, I don't need to change. I'm moving up to the upper right now. and I'll take that 1.95 minus, oh, all right, let's add, what's the distance between there? Yeah, 1 inch 950, I was right. 1.95 plus enter. So that should be the bottom left, bottom right, upper right, and now I need to take out another 1 inch 950 to give me the last location of that 4-hole bolt, or 4-hole location. The draw button, there I have Intro 12 completely programmed.